Hola. Is your Capitan. Welcome to Marooned. It's going to be a great episode today, of that I can assure you, my beloved crew. But before we get into that stupidity, and before we start talking about the stupidest thing that I could ever think to talk about, you know him, you love him, he's here to cover my butt, so anything I say don't bite it. See Wind! Smoke! Tell him what's up!
Hiya! Disclaimer jutsu! The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of associated brands or figures. Poof!
Well said. Well said. I'm never gonna get used to that smoke bomb shit. Okay. Like I said, welcome back to Marooned. I'm so glad to see all of you again, especially you, JP. How you doing, broski?
Bonjour, mon frère.
Love you, my dude. All the maple syrup and mousse for you. Mousse? Meese. Moose eye.
Love the Mises to pieces.
I'm just gonna go with Mises. Much love to the frozen north from your friends in the dirty south. Makanga Spaceport. Folks, we're gonna be talking about something heavy. But I feel like you'll enjoy the cruise. We're gonna be talking about faith. We're going to be talking about spirits, spirituality, religious views, and maybe we might learn a little something about each other along the way.
If you comment.
It would be nice if you did. By the way, I want you to look at the screen right now. Look at it. Look at it. Mm-hmm. Look at it. Look down. You see that subscribe button? Why does it say subscribe and not subscribed?
Give us that D.
Give me the D. Click subscribe.
And my suffering. Please,
The
help
punishment of the quartermaster shall continue until you click subscribe. Until there is at least a proper armada at my back, I shall continue
Help.
to berate quartermaster with any type of pun-affiliated madness that I can concoct. And you all know that when it comes to concoctions, I'm practically an alchemist. Full metal, as it were. Speaking of full, pasta bakes. Friday just passed, and I'm sure none of you did your proper noodly tidings. And if you did, good for you. Captain's not talking to you, though. I'm talking to that lazy so-and-so who didn't even take the time to make some top ramen. How do you say I lay some knowledge on these folks so that they can give proper Pastafarian homage?
Yeah.
The pasta bake of the week. Cheddar mac and cheese.
Oh man, it was good.
Real good.
Super simple, super quick, super easy. Even a stoner can do it. Trust me, I know.
Stoner tested. Stoner tested. Stoner approved.
Shit, stoner prepared. Captain devoured. Well, the crew devoured anyway. Easiest way to make it, folks. Get yourself a couple boxes of your favorite macaroni. Get yourself some cheese sauce. I'm gonna need you to boil that water first, mates. Salt that water to taste. A few drops of some extra virgin olive oil. We want things to be smooth. Boil that water. I want you to put both those boxes of mac straight into that bubbling beauty. Let it boil 11, 12 minutes. You don't want things to be al dente for what we're doing here, lads. Drain it. Let it sit. While you're letting that bad boy sit, I hope you had some ground beef browning. That's right. That's right. Brown yourself some ground beef. Those of you that do enjoy some pork, I recommend getting yourself some bacon crumbles, putting them right into that browned beef. Make sure you strain it first, though, boys. Goes. Theys. Mercedes. Yep. Make sure you strain that beef first. My lads, molasses, my ladies. After after you've gone and taken care of that beef, after you've gone and taken care of that pasta, I want you to take that cheese sauce. I want you to dribble it all over that mac. I want you to make that mac feel as though it is the most important thing of your day, because it is. Get that cheese on there. Stir that cheese in there. While you're stirring that cheese, I want you to find an extra set of hands. I know you've got them out there. Find a buddy. Find somebody. And if you can't find them to give you a hand dumping it, you're just going to have to figure out a way. Pour that ground beef and bacon concoction on top of that mac and cheese and stir. Stir. Stir for all you're worth, mate. Only when you hear the classic sound of well-blended mac and cheese do you then take those extra slices of cheddar, put them on top, put them in a fucking glass pan, smooth that beautiful baby out, 350 degrees in the oven, 15 minutes. Put some extra cheddar on top. As soon as that bitch melts and starts to brown over, pull it out. Let it cool. Enjoy yourself. The FSM would be happy. So will you. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. And now that I've secured a way for your bellies to be full, and now that I've run off those who are easily distracted and don't like hanging in there to actually pay attention to what we talk about on our show, ooh,
Shots.
Can we?
Please.
I mean, it's 94 proof, but I'm not against doing shots on the deck, ever. But we might need them. We might need 94 proof, because we're heading right on in. Chris, my dude.
Yeah.
As you know, I like to be clear with people. I said we're diving into faith. I said we're diving into spirituality, religion. But what the hell do those words mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Captain. Because it always helps to start from an objective starting point, and what can be more objective than the definitions that anybody could look up their damn self. We'll start off with the definition for spirit. What is a spirit?
The woogity boogieties? The heebity jeebities? The things that go bump in the night? Those kinds?
Well, that's exactly what it said. No, not those kinds. Not them bones, them bones. We'll save that for Halloween.
Bones? Bones? Yeah, you're right. Don't got time for no bones. No bones.
Spooky time.
But I might have a bone to pick. Keep going, my friend.
All right. So definition number 1. The non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character, the soul. And then there's number 2. Those qualities regarded as forming the definitive or typical elements in the character of a person, nation, or group, or in the thoughts and attitudes of a particular period. A flavor, if you will.
I see. So the ghost in the machine, as it were.
Aye.
What does that mean to you, my friend? What does spirit mean to you?
What does spirit mean to me? I actually really like this first definition, the non-physical part of a person, because there is a part of us that we do recognize as very real. We all experience dreams and thoughts. We all have emotions, those things, and we have a relative understanding of how those things manifest, and the physical part of us that helps us interpret those sensations and things of that nature. So I like to think of the spirit as those things that you can't just physically grab. You can't grab sadness, but we all know it exists.
Very true. Almost an ethereal presence of sorts. Like something that you're aware of, but that you cannot hold, that you can't touch.
The conduit for the abstract, if you will.
Not my favorite kind of thing, to be honest with you.
Well, in this case, it's something that can be denied. See, you got those things, because everybody has their thing where it's like, oh, but I felt it and I believe it and so on and so forth. But it can be denied. Whereas your doctor's not going to tell you, oh, you weren't happy today. In fact, it would be the opposite, because then he could say, oh, yeah, well, I know that the brain released endorphins, and specifically because of that emotion, and it released a different toxin or whatever when you were sad or angry or whatever else. Like they can confirm that shit. But that other shit,
could be something deeper to it. What about you, Quartermaster? What is spirit to you?
I mean, I got a little tripped up on that second definition he had for us. Run that one more time.
those qualities regarded as forming the definitive or typical elements in the character of a person, nation, or group, or in the thought and attitudes of a particular period. So like a period of time could have a spirit.
The American spirit, that oh so indomitable American spirit that led to the westward expansion, the industrialization of our nation. All those things that are far bloodier and not nearly as squeaky clean and cool as people would lead you to believe.
And I see ethos as a synonym here for that one.
Ah, yes. Like the infinite cosmos, the ethos.
Now that resonates with me.
Resonates with me too.
I mean, when you think about it, if it's not something that can be held, seen, experienced, and only truly felt, and it seems all the definitions, spirit is something that is felt across the board, at least as far as I can understand it. Personally, I like the idea of it being a way of an entire people, like a congregation's agreement on a mood. When something is a whole mood, to do things simply in the spirit of that thing, and especially when you're doing it in a group, that truly is some powerful stuff.
I believe the young folks refer to that as a vibe.
Ah, yes, 'tis a whole vibe when we're all of the same spirit.
There you go. Good vibration.
So what's next, my friend?
Let's extend that because, you know, we love using words interchangeably or not realizing how their very approximate cousins have very different definitions sometimes. And so extending that out, we have spirituality. All right. And we have the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
And yet, so many spiritual people, or at least people who claim to be spiritual, are highly materialistic in my experience.
I think you're getting on the difference between people who are empathic and people that just go, I'm an empath.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, I find that debatable across the board. It seems to me a lot of what people call being an empath and then them claiming that to be part of what makes them a spiritual person, it just seems to be being good to people. It just seems to be being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes in order to empathize with them and understand where they're coming from. I think a lot of people confuse being an empath for simply having empathy. And it's not a telekinetic force to have empathy. There isn't a big mystical thing behind being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. So I've always wondered.
Well, in actually like looking and really like studying the people that I've personally encountered that say they were empaths, like my mom for instance, in those cases what it was more along the lines of a hypersensitivity, like she had been through traumatic things, and so what a lot of times what she was picking up on was that she was just picking up on like hyper details of things,
Getting triggered.
yeah, basically whether she wanted to or not. So it's like she might hear a sound subtly or whatever and then be tuned into it without consciously acknowledging it at that time. So it's like a lot of people that I've encountered with it and then just actually watched them, studied them physically or whatever. That's really what was going on.
Hypervigilance?
Yeah, it's hypervigilance. That's the
There
word
we
I'm
go.
looking for. There you go.
I suffer from that myself.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good point. Like at a lot of times when that hypervigilance kicks in, especially for myself, it's something that's a lot harder to get in check than you might think. Especially when you feel someone you care about is dealing with a really harsh thing that, one, this is someone you care about, so you don't want them to deal with it, but you've been through it, and you remembered how horrible you felt. So even though they don't suffer from hypervigilance like you might, or like, let's say we're saying me, right? In my example, for me, they don't suffer from it like I do, so a lot of times I've noticed me trying to be empathetic oftentimes might come off very almost aggressive and gets lost in translation.
I can see that.
Like when you try to put yourself in, like, it's like not only am I putting myself in your shoes, but I was there. And when I was there, it didn't work out for me because I was on my own. I want you to know you're not on your own, right? And it happens for folks in that regard a lot. And it could also happen in a way where they're like, I've been here before. You ain't gonna get me. You see, I can sense it. I got a sixth sense for this stuff. And it's like, no, it's not that you have a sixth sense for that. It's that you're traumatized.
And you're picking up on patterns faster than you realize.
There you go.
Trauma does not equate to telepathy. Oftentimes you hear people say, it just wasn't right with my spirit. Yeah, it gave you anxiety, didn't it?
We have natural protections against certain things. Like, there's a reason why we're just not super sensitive to certain things, or else we wouldn't be able to function on a daily basis. And unfortunately, things like trauma and any number of other factors can contribute to some of those natural barriers being kind of whittled down a little bit, such that you're picking up on shit that you probably wouldn't want to.
Absolutely. So moving right along, CJ, what do you think about spirituality in itself?
You asking me with the magic girl, the one with the magic in the hair, the magic. Sorry.
See, this is why we don't let her talk that much. I'm kidding. She speaks whenever she wants.
I keep trying to tell y'all, but you don't listen.
Well, we all keep trying to tell them that, but they just don't believe me.
We couldn't stop her if we wanted to.
We really couldn't. We've tried. It ended poorly.
She has magic.
So many lost. Those poor fuckboys.
I tried to tell him he didn't want these problems.
That motherfucker actually had the audacity. Had the audacity to keep trying too.
Said he wanted all the smoke.
Yeah, he asked for the problems.
Actually requested them. Filled out a form.
He requested the problems.
Sure did.
And then had the audacity to be upset when they arrived.
Filled out an application form and everything, and then was still somehow shocked when these problems arrived as ordered.
Aww.
Amazon Prime delivery grade problems got them there to him same day, and he still had the audacity to try and return the shits.
Dropped them off with drones, if you will.
And it wasn't like he made an impulse purchase and then months later this thing arrives from China and you're like, when the fuck did I order this? No, he ordered it, received it immediately, and he wanted that shit.
Exactly. And since you've dealt with folks of the wishy-washy variety in this regard, folks that you've been able to wax on and then immediately wax the fuck off, how does spirituality stand with you? I know you've encountered many a person that has tried to use a horoscope as a forefront to understand you.
I just don't get how other people understand my birth chart better than me, but then again, I don't buy into the whole birth chart thing. I'm me in spite of what I didn't want to be, not what time I was born.
Right. It's like a lot of times people that claim that their spirituality is rooted in their horoscope oftentimes use that as a medium to judge other people, prejudge them simply based on when they were born. I've always thought that was kind of ridiculous. I think it's even more ridiculous when they use it as a predetermine as to whether or not they would be compatible with you. And oftentimes we'll even use that as a point of contention to argue why you're not interested in them. Youch.
Listen, I said no more Aquarians.
But see, isn't that kind of doing the same thing? But then I guess if a bunch of people are like, yeah, I'm an Aquarius, so you know what that means. I guess if a lot of people did that after a while, I guess I'd probably be like, you know.
Yeah, I do the balance thing. I just, in all things, just balance, y'all.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about spirituality. It's all about balance. It's all about the self.
you know a bit about balance, my friend, as you just said. What are some things that you do to center the self? What are some things that you do would you say that you're a spiritual man?
I am a man.
There you go.
Because you got
Step one.
Yeah, so first and foremost, you are a person, a man.
Congratulations.
So with anything, you have to have a balance. And so if we're speaking of spiritual as being the counterbalancing force to the physical, you have to take care of both. Because if you get too spiritual and you neglect your physical health, for instance, you'll die. If you get too physical and you don't monitor your emotions and your thoughts and things like that, you'll die. So you just gotta look. I'm not saying become a master of self-diagnosis per se, but then just get to know you and your body and your mind well enough to where you can say, yeah, that's not my usual way of ticking. Something's going on today. Let me look into that, and then you'll be alright.
Introspection is key.
Gotta find that balance within the self.
There it is.
So that you can find mastery in your life.
Yep. Because unfortunately, how you're interacting with everything around you is based on what's going on inside.
Absolutely.
So what's next, my friend?
Faith. You got to believe.
Ooh.
Faith. All right. So two definitions here. So we got one, complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And then two, strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. Now that's a doozy.
Indeed.
Just clinging to what you've been told to cling to. Just that straight up blind belief in something, huh?
There it is.
I mean, for a second, I was getting ready to ask you if that definition didn't come with an extra caveat, because it didn't sound like anything I was indoctrinated with. You know, that good old substance of things hoped for and evidence of things you cannot see. That sound familiar to anybody out there?
Yeah, but isn't that the whole point? You're not supposed to ask questions. You're just supposed to have faith that everything's going to work out. Just follow these 10 easy steps, fool.
It looks like it really comes down to your source, because these two definitions almost seem diametrically opposed, in that the first, trust or confidence in someone or something, because you can derive your trust or confidence from any number of things. But with the second definition, it's entirely centered on God. And in this case, when it says that spiritual apprehension is done without proof. So it's just, this is how I'm supposed to do it. This is what I'm supposed to believe in. And then that's why I believe in it. Nothing I personally experienced, or nothing, I personally developed around this. It's just that, that's what I'm supposed to do.
And how do you feel about that, Chi?
I don't know if I like that one.
Well, how do you feel about faith in and of itself? How about that?
Well, we can get this down real easy. Because, you a new dad. We're going to keep poking at that one.
It's an easy target, isn't it?
With that little mini you that got a copy of your face.
The whole person.
I'm pretty sure when you feeding her, she's gotten to, by now, come to have faith that you ain't just going to drop her on the floor, right?
Fuck if I know. Matter of fact, I wanted to share this with y'all because this is something I noticed. So what happens is, when my child gets really hungry, it's almost like she turns feral. Like she just turns into this creature that all she wants is something to eat. Like she it's like I look at her and it's almost like she's a doll in those times. And then once she gets it, you give her the bottle, and then it's like that's all she cares about at the time. Like, it's such a relief. Like, I'm like, wow. And then after it's done and she's full, she doesn't want it anymore, she's back and she just wants to play, and she's there and she's attentive. But man, when she's ready and she's hungry and those instincts kick in, like that really puts in perspective like what this human animal is composed of, like who's driving the boat at any given time,
Well, I could say it sounds like she's got faith that she'll be fed so long as she hollers.
As long as she hollers. I don't even know if she knows. She just knows I feel like this, I'm hollering, which is a beautiful thing. Because she does what she does because that's what the fuck she does. And she probably doesn't sit up there and come up with reasons for why she does it. She just does what she does. And then being who I am, I don't want to scream it anymore. So then, because of what I experience or what I believe in that moment or whatever, I'm like, I don't want this kid to die. And that's a hell of a natural way to survive, if you ask me.
I mean,
instinct.
You might not know, but trusting in your instincts to just let out that cry and hope that everything will turn out all right seems like a pretty human response to me. Seems that she's gonna be just fine. Sounds like she's figuring this whole human race thing out.
That's it.
In her own way.
One bottle at a time.
That's right. I find that infants know more about being human than anybody, and then you spend the rest of those years of your life having people fuck it up.
And trying to tell you what a good human is when turns out you could cry and shit and eat from day one.
That's it. Smile, laugh. They smile in the womb. Like if you get a good ultrasound, like you'll see them smile sometimes. So that's deep.
And there you go. The knowledge that everything's gonna be all right.
That's it. And being totally all right if it doesn't. It's just,
right.
It's like, how long have I even been? I'm a baby. I haven't even come out yet, or I just came out. Like, shit. I'm just glad this.
She
done
understands
this
the force. Oh my God, it's perfect.
And that's how and honestly, when you think about it, I think it's terrible that a lot of people lose that. That no matter what, I have faith it's going to be all right because I'm gonna keep going. Having faith in another day being on the horizon oftentimes is what keeps me going. Like that's oftentimes all it takes for me. Not belief that my inner thoughts are going to be heard and all my problems will be solved by an infinite sky daddy who knows all, who has chosen me as his perfect son and faithful follower, and I'm going to receive a bunch of blessings. No, I bank nothing in that. But what I do have a bit of faith in, at the end of the day, is that another day gonna come. What kind of day, I don't know. But another will come. And I will treat that day as I do every other. With appreciation and with a drive to make it to see the next one. So let's get to the nitty gritty.
Oh dear.
Now, you know, there's something that I get questioned on a lot, especially about religious folk. Let's hear a little something about a fun little M word called morality.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's see what we got.
Isn't there usually, though?
Always, even in the definition. So we have principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong, or good and bad behavior, and it has ethics as a synonym in that case. Then we have a particular system of values and principles of conduct, especially one held by a specified person or society. And then finally, the extent to which an action is right or wrong.
So it looks like we've gone over all the types of morality, the objective and the subjective.
Indeed.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That guidance, that compass.
It really just looks like it depends on where you're sourcing it from. Is it based on objective? Is it going to impact everyone the same way, or is it right just because a bunch of people agree with it in a particular area?
People of the like spirit. There would be some individual spiritualists who claim that they have a more keen sense of morality because they focus on themselves over others. There are people of great faith who say that they are in the moral right because they follow their rules.
Well, being pious doesn't make you more moral.
Debatable according to them, and according to that definition, actually. Because who said moral meant right? That's the other thing. What is morally right to you might be criminal to me.
That's right. Same goes for the law.
Pro-choice versus pro-life argument comes to mind.
The personhood of people.
Remember that?
Tis another one.
Yeah, just because it's in the law doesn't make it right, because slavery was perfectly lawful during that time.
There you go. The 1800s. So long ago, yet ringing to this very day.
Oh man, did you know it was illegal to hide Jews during the Holocaust?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty common knowledge, but then again, a lot of things that I would think are common knowledge tend to be huge shocks to most people we talk to.
Common sense ain't common.
In that case, it better be holographic at least.
At least.
I mean, if common sense is that goddamn rare of a card to draw, it better at least be holo-fucking-graphic, because at this rate...
Wait a minute. Stop it. Stop that.
Oh, am I shuffling things up too much again?
One track.
I'm such a card.
I was about to do it.
I beat you to the draw, did I?
Help!
I remember. Yeah, this ain't gonna cut it.
Oh.
Help!
You gotta hand it to your cap.
Help!
Was it well played, Chris?
Get me off of this deck!
And there she is, crying to her invisible deities to save her. What a religious person.
Hope your morality is intact.
I don't think we went over that word.
Morality.
No, religious.
Oh, religion? Oh, yeah. You want that one?
Yeah, I mean, like, we've
Yeah,
already
talk
covered
about all
what
of
the
it.
morality is. And
What's your morality? We didn't talk about what,
me? Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I get a better clue on what religion is, then maybe I can piece it together for everybody, because
Yes, we'll tackle those two
All right.
together, because a lot of people, they tie their morality to their religion.
Absolutely they do.
You know, and once I read this definition, you'll find out how unfortunate that can be when it comes to the treatment of each other. But religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, a particular system of faith and worship, or a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. All right, and then mind you, when they say superhuman, they're not talking about the X-Men, they're talking about outside of the human.
I'm gonna go ahead and give a big yikes. Yikes and yar. Yar, because I don't agree. I don't believe in surrendering your power. That's all I heard then. Yikes and yar. How could I ever surrender my power like that? You know, you were asking about my morality. Since we're talking about religion, and a lot of folks like to tie their morality to their religion, I've got bad news for everybody. You ready? I want you to listen. Listen real close. Lean in. Lean in with me. Real quick. Real quick. Your ears open? You ready to hear this? Okay. All right. Ready? Your beloved Capitan is quite the devout atheist.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Not a shock to me.
I just want to be shocked for you guys.
I know, right?
We know.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. A man of faith with no Lord. How?
How could you be a good person? You don't believe in anybody.
Because I do.
What?
Because I do believe.
What do you believe in?
He is the
I'm not
kicker.
asking for me. I already know.
I'm looking at them. Look at them. Look at all these people.
Yeah, look at those.
Look at that little blue marble. Over 7 billion of them down there.
You mean the motherfuckers standing right in front of you?
I mean every single one of them.
These people?
Those people, especially the 27 fantastic people that are subscribed to my little channel. But,
yeah,
in particular,
especially them.
And
JP.
J Pizzle.
I believe in JP.
I believe in JP too.
I'm gonna get me a WWJPD bracelet.
What would JP do? Bro, I want to make that one of our shirts.
I know what he would do. He would comment. He would subscribe.
Because he fucking did.
Like,
every fucking time.
Yeah, you need to be more like JP, y'all.
Yo, what would JP do? Damn. And oftentimes I find myself asking questions like that. I do. I actually do. What would JP do in this situation? Now, he's a friend of mine. He's a real calm, level-headed dude. And he approaches everything usually with more of a jovial take than I ever would. He approaches things with far better faith. I mean, I'm cynical as shit on most cases. But that dude's willing to give most things the benefit of the doubt. Unless they straight up trigger the bullshit detectors. Now, when a dude as sweet as maple syrup practically never has a mean thing to say about anything goes, nah, man, fuck that. Right.
That's some real shit.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit.
You gotta pay attention.
And exactly, and I do pay attention to that. I oftentimes go, well, damn. Now, if a level-headed SOB like him is mad, I don't really feel any kind of way that I was ticked off about it. There are times where I'm like, well, damn. What would Chris do? Now, I'm real quick to run in head first. Y'all know that about me. I think direct. Direct's a good word for me.
That would work.
What, you got something to say, Ninja Boy?
How direct of you. But there are times where I even go, what would Chris do? Well, you know, you're a lot more calm in some instances than me. There are times where your reactions to older folks and folks that like to come at us with, young buck, let me talk to you. Now, you've got a far better demeanor for being talked to like that than I do. We've seen it every time, actually. I'm not even gonna... It's not an exaggeration, folks. It's not an exaggeration, folks. Your captain, he hates when old guys try to tell him what to do. It's a fact, folks. I don't like it. But Chris is able to take some of the most, to me, feeling down-talky stuff, and he's able to go, nah, I don't think he's saying we don't got it. What I think this guy's saying is, he experienced it this way, and when he was going through it at this time, that's how that shit worked. Now, us and what we're doing, that doesn't apply to us exactly, but what we can take from it is how he struggled to do it because he did it that way. That is no shit. 9 out of 10 times whenever I'm like, fuck him, Chris. He's like, pretty accurate. Yeah, because the goal is to get something from everybody.
Exactly. And there are times where I'm like, shove him in a cannon and fire him off the bow, please. And then Chris just comes in and goes, no, belay that. And then kind of gives me the look like, is that the right word? Belay the right word? And I'm like, yeah, that's very priority of you. Fantastic. And then he's like, sweet. And then he lays it down for me just like that. Yeah, I know. I can see how you felt that way, Cap. But this is what I heard. And when I ask what would he do, oftentimes it's like, yeah, he would definitely listen to what I got to say too. Because he listens to what I got to say on stuff. I might be the hothead a lot of the times. Okay, I'm the hothead every time. But when I do feel strongly about something, I'll be damned if he doesn't at least listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be damned if he doesn't hear me out, because as hot-headed as I am, I very rarely have mean things to say.
This is true.
So if I am mad at something, my crew knows, usually there's a problem.
Because I know where your moral compass is ticking.
Exactly.
If you actually know somebody, then you understand. You can listen and focus on understanding instead of judging. And you can't really make a sound judgment without understanding. And how could you understand unless you listen? The smartest person in the room ain't the one doing all the talking necessarily. It's the person that's listening, because he's the one that's heard everybody and then can put everything together into something that is objective and That's all it is.
I love doing the something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Gold from nowhere. Alchemy, my dude.
King Midas.
Straight up. That's one of my titles. He of the Midas touch. Dirt into gold, man. But while I'm sitting there turning dirt into gold, I get lonely sometimes, and my shoulders get heavy, and I start to think to myself, well, you know, when I get lonely and I start to get in my own head, and my heart starts to hurt, I go, what would CJ do?
Me?
Oh, yeah.
Me?
Oh, yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. That's CJ.
Yes.
Special person.
I. Correct. This is why we do the pun thing. I look at CJ and I go, man, no matter what status her romantic life might be in, cohorts, courtesans, what have you, she does not stop her stride for shit. I don't think I've ever seen her stumble once. A damn good friend in that regard. She gonna get there on her own time, though. But she gonna get there.
She gonna get there.
But she gonna get there.
I got 2 speeds. If you don't like this one, you really not gonna like the other one.
I hate when she says that. You have no, like, everything I do, I try to avoid getting her to say that, because that's when I know, oh, it'll get done, but oh, I'm gonna have anxiety all day about it.
Yeah.
But man, if you just have a bit of faith in her, what would CJ do? Dude, she'd get it the fuck done, so I'm not worried.
It's excellent that you said that. Once upon a time, one of the most life-shifting quotes that somebody told me is that faith and worry move in the opposite directions. Like you can't have faith and worry about something at the same time. So if you want to get rid of your worries, just have some faith, let it go. So faith is letting it go.
Exactly.
Just let it go.
And the thing is, when I ask what would CJ do, what would Chris do, hell, when I have those moments of, man, I wonder how JP would feel about this. I reflect on the people that are close to me, the people that I call my crew. I reflect on them. And I reflect on y'all's troubles. I reflect on y'all's experiences. And I go, how can my actions either make those experiences better in the long run? How can I directly affect them? How can I just make their day a little better? I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts, I'm grabbing myself a little refresher. Yo, you know what? CJ will probably dig one of these. I got some extra scratch, why not? Because I know how I would feel. And it's that simple for me.
Is it?
I know how I would feel. I know how I'd feel if I were sitting at home and then I suddenly got a phone call from my friend like, hey dude, you want to come hang out? I got some smoke. I've got a refresher. Shake that ice. Light ice. What?
And that usually is how my porch sounds. Rattled. Oh, God.
I got a policeman's knock.
Boom, boom, boom. Hey.
On the shack.
Every time I knock on the door, I've either got food, I've got a drink, I've got something. Just because I never assume that my presence is a present. But I do cherish the company of those I'm with.
You cherish their company as if that's the present.
Exactly.
And that's
So-
being present.
Exactly. Being present with them, being able to see their reactions to the things that I do, being able to see their lives improve. Oh man, there's no greater gospel in the world to me. Are you serious? What hymn is better than seeing your friends happy and knowing that that's just the status fucking quo around you? That your friends feel happy, that they feel safe, that they're not judged by you. You know, I had a friend hit me up with, I don't believe you're an atheist. And I almost feel like she said that because she didn't believe that I could care about somebody and not believe in spirits, telepathy, any of those, oh, I felt a spiritual connection with you through the ether, and that's how I was drawn to you. Now, granted, I'm a poetic guy, and I love that kind of romantic imagery, but it's exactly that to me. It's romantic imagery. I almost feel like when you use those kinds of words, it is simply to enhance how you feel about a person and to let them know their importance to you. And I feel like that might be why a lot of people get lost in the religious scriptures, because those are some really romanticized words, and then those are some really strong phrases, and the way the passages are written, it's meant to make you think, put yourself in that position, and feel what that person is feeling. But instead of me feeling this dread of, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, this big, shadowy God dude who is really angry and really jealous all the time is going to smite me. Instead of me feeling like that all the time, damn, I made pasta today. I'm gonna go feed my friends. Oh fuck, I feel great.
So you take joy in the extraordinary?
I take joy in the ordinary, I'd say.
Which is even more extraordinary. Because how often do people just take time to enjoy the ordinary?
I mean, man, if you think about it, like, I started out that way, but I'm gonna let you know that bubble was shattered real quick.
Tell them how.
You sure?
Hey, man, we ain't pulling no punches here.
Do y'all actually want to know what made the captain go, oh shit, there's nothing up there? Whew.
Wasn't that your first look into the void?
It really was. My very first look into the void. I was about 7 years old.
I'll tell the crew.
All right, crewman, sit down. If you get tired of hearing your captain talk, too bad. If more people talk to me, then I wouldn't have this show, because then I would have people that actually got to talk to me, so I wouldn't have to talk to all of you. Not that I don't mind it or anything, I actually quite enjoy this stuff. Maybe you guys might like more about me now that I'm about to tell you this. Or you might use it to mock me. I wonder if you guys are going to clip any of the shit I say and then use it to cancel me later. Ooh! That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Getting cancelled.
But we've barely taken off.
Yeah, but all great shows last one season and then get cancelled. That's how you wind up with a huge fan base.
Freaks and geeks.
Firefly.
I had one, lost it.
Exactly.
Exactly. One season and then we lost it due to us getting canceled because of my hyperbole. Keep up, Chris. God, the smoke bomb's getting to you too.
Cult following. That's what we need.
Well, all religion is a cult. But anyway, it was Sunday. It was a beautiful day in Orlando, Florida. I'm 7 years old. Now your captain is a bit of a vintage model. Oh man, Chris, you ready for this beautiful year?
Yeah.
1995.
Whoa, that was a dope year.
Let me say that one more time for the people that love hearing that fucking year. 1995. Everybody knew every word to every damn song on 102 Jams. And I was just wondering, before speaking to my father, why it was that 102 Jams was set to 101.9 FM. It always bothered me. But instead of asking that, I had wondered why it was we were leaving the house so late. You see, it was like 3 in the afternoon. Church was already out. And I was getting a bit sick of my cousins always making fun of me for not going to church.
They made fun of you for not going to church?
Oh yeah, Jit going to hell. Jit don't go to church. Jit daddy don't want him to go to church. Yo, he come to church when you ain't there.
All of this sounds like not the point of going to church.
No, but it was the point to little old me. I didn't want to not go to heaven. And then that old anxiety I talked about that I used to have as a kid kicked in. Oh, shit. It must be because I'm super annoying. I gotta figure out a way to fix this. I gotta fix this. I got to. Well, Dad, why don't we go to church anymore? Is it because I fall asleep? No, it ain't because you fall asleep. Took a drag off a cigarette. Sped up a little bit.
Things you could do with kids in cars in the 90s.
Absolutely. That's why I emphasize 1995. Statute of limitations is way gone, but whoo!
Defects.
So I'm like, okay, well, can we go next week? Nah. Why not? I don't want to go. Why? Ain't no point in going. Record scratch at this point, right? I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? I don't want to go to hell, Dad, please. You ain't going to hell, boy. Well, why not? Because there ain't nowhere for you to fucking go. What do you mean? When you're dead, you're dead. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else. When you're dead, you're dead. That's it. Get over it. I done ripped that Band-Aid off for you. You'll be alright. My dad pulled a Rick fucking Sanchez in 1995.
7 years old.
I was a bit crushed, to say the least. Nihilism creeped in at 7. Nothing mattered. I actually stayed awake at night watching Discovery Channel after that. You know, and those late night documentaries on Discovery Channel were some wild shit, man. They started looking into the galaxies, they started looking into the stars and everything like that. And I kept watching on repeat while they kept talking about how the Andromeda Galaxy was going to smash into the Milky Way and we were all going to get obliterated in what they called an intergalactic train wreck.
Things 7-year-olds shouldn't be worried about.
And I know a 7-year-old who believed in God definitely wouldn't be worried about that. But a 7-year-old who had just learned that that's it. And, oh, by the way, you're on this really small planet. Yeah, the Earth's only big to you. You're on this really small planet in a really small galaxy. And a bigger one is about to slam into us. Maybe, potentially. We don't know. In fact, we don't know a lot of things. We don't know how far it goes. We don't know what all is in it. This was back in 1995, so we really didn't know shit at the time. We don't know how black holes work. We don't know how radio signals are able to pass through space exactly. We don't know anything at this point, but I wanted to know something. I had to know what was out there. Because I'd just been told there was nothing. And since there was nothing, I had to prove them wrong. As we look into the eyes of God, it's how a lot of the documentaries would start. And I'd be like, yes, okay, yeah. Stars, planets, moons, asteroids, beautiful gas clouds and colors that you'd never imagine in the deep darkness of space, but no gods. No messages from beyond. Nothing. No Nephilim, seraphims, cherubs. Nothing. Cherubs. Nothing. Nothing. So, for 3 years, nothing. Nothing. There's nothing. And then it hit me one day when I was 10. Oh, that's the most beautiful nothing I've ever seen. There's nothing out there, but it's beautiful. Yeah, I didn't see no angels and I didn't see no gods, but have you ever seen some of the photos that the Hubble telescope has taken? Oh man,
Beautiful.
the infinite sea of stars. How could I lose hope? Not in a god, but in humanity's potential to go out there and meet whatever has seen that before. Because we couldn't have been. If we were looking out there had to be other people looking out there. Other people from other worlds that are just as curious as us. Maybe there was another little 7-year-old on Venus who had just been told by his shitbag dad, ain't nothing out there. And that's where it started. I looked into the void, I saw nothing, and I said, why, you know what? But that's pretty fucking cool, isn't it? Isn't that cool? To see, quote-unquote, nothing, but it's the most beautiful nothing I've ever seen. You know, when I close my eyes, it's just pitch black, but when I look out into space, I see nothing but every single color that has ever been and ever could be. Shapes and sounds that radiate from the cosmos and make it to our planet Earth. Radio signals from well and on beyond. Yeah, I don't believe in trumpets and pearly gates, mate, but man, do I believe in that infinite sea and how beautiful it is. And I think if more people could look up, see that infinite sea of stars, and then look to their left and their right and see their fellow man looking up as well, in just as much awe and wonder at it, then maybe what Sky Daddy you believe in doesn't matter. Maybe where you go when your eyes close doesn't matter. Perhaps it's what you do for the people that you leave behind that truly does. That's why when they hit me with, well, you don't have morality, you're an atheist. You don't believe in God, how could you care about anybody? Bro, you believe in a God, how could you? You're not allowed to put anyone over your God. If you do, it's a sin, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that caring about your fellow man is a punishment. I could never subscribe to any way of belief where my fellow man is lesser than I. And if I ever do, please play this back. Because the very man that broke that 7-year-old's heart has a Bible loaded with notes, highlighted passages, and that very same man that said God's not real used that very same God to assure that he doesn't even have to communicate with his son anymore. You see, guys, I was told there was no God, and I listened. And then because I didn't believe in a God, I was abandoned by the very same person that told me there wasn't one to begin with. A lot of people would view that as I failed my test of faith, and I've been told that several times. You failed your test. Wonderful. Fantastic. I am ecstatic that I failed such a horrible test.
Well, hold up. So at 7 years old,
Yes.
following the commandment, thou
Yes.
shalt honor my father, doing what your father
Yes.
said, that you, what the fuck, people,
Right.
people,
You get why,
come on, people.
You get why we're such a fun little set of paradoxes.
But I'm evil. This man swears him down. I am a demon sent to haunt him for his past mistakes. That I'm every wrong choice he ever made manifest. How could I not be a writer after your dad says some shit like that to you, right?
Best fan fiction possible. There's no contest now. Sorry, guys.
I know, right?
That's it. You won.
I've oftentimes said no. I'm a pirate before anything else. My gender, my pronouns, what have you. Hell, my race. Pirate, pirate, pirate. I will fill it out on every form that I can. If it says other, that's what I put. Because I failed so miserably at being a human being at 7 years old that by the time I was 10, I just decided I wouldn't be.
Do your own thing.
I just do my own thing. The pirate's life.
Yar.
Yar. I've got a crew. I've got anything else that I could possibly need because I have that. And the best thing about a crew, I've got you, and I got all of you. So why would I need one invisible guy that I can't talk to? But that's just me. That's just me talking to you. And I do hope that you'll come back and talk with us again. I'm Captain Flint. As always, here on the deck of the Cameroon's Revenge, where you are somebody. With my family here. CJ Wind, any parting words for our crewmen?
The usual, drink your water, take your meds. Be good to each other, be good to yourselves.
What do you got for him, Wind?
When I'm on this deck, I know I don't have 2 eyes, I have 6. And with all of you, multiply that. Why wouldn't you want more? 1,000 eyes to look at a situation, figure things out. We've got each other. We are one. It all comes down to how you look at what self is. And on that note, I'm going to say peace.
This is your captain again. TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Captain loves you, and to all are one, I won't stop talking shit.